before her hair became a twisting nest of snakes and her eyes could turn people to stone, Medusa was a young woman who worshipped at the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. But all the while, as Medusa cared for Athena's shrine, Poseidon, god of the sea and horses, was watching her. And one night he crept into the temple as Medusa prayed and assaulted her. Athena reacted right away to the defiling of her shrine, but instead of punishing Poseidon, she turned her anger on Medusa. The young woman felt her body change until she became a monstrous gorgon, her face surrounded by coils of hissing snakes. No man could safely look at her again, for if they met her eyes, they would instantly turn to stone. Medusa hid in a secret cave inhabited by the world's two other gorgons, Stheno and Euryale. However, unlike Stheno and Euryale, who could never die, Medusa was still mortal. Time passed, and would-be heroes traveled to the cave to make their names by killing Medusa, but fell to her gaze every time. This was how things went, until another young man, named Perseus, began his own quest for glory. Medusa was the prize he wanted. Perseus was born to the mortal princess Danae, after Zeus made her pregnant in the form of golden rain. However, Danae's father had received a prophecy saying that her son would kill him, so he locked Danae and Perseus in a chest and threw it into the sea. Protected by the gods, they survived. But the king of their new land, Polydectes, desired Danae. She tried turning King Polydectes away, but it did no good, and Perseus became protective. To distract Perseus, Polydectes pretended that he had finally given up on Danae and would be marrying another woman. When Perseus offered Polydectes whatever wedding gift he wanted, Polydectes saw his chance to get rid of Perseus and suggested that he prove his manhood by bringing back a Gorgon's head. Perseus accepted the reckless mission, gathered a crew, and sailed toward the Grey, three ancient sisters. They shared one eye and one tooth, and held many secrets. As one sister passed their eye to another, Perseus grabbed it and forced them to reveal where the nymphs of the river Styx were and where the cave of the Gorgons was. With the nymphs' help, he got Hermes' winged sandals, Hades' cap of invisibility, and a special satchel. And he accepted a shining sickle from Hermes, and a shield that shone like a mirror from Athena herself, the goddess who had cursed Medusa with her monstrous form in the first place. Then, one night, Perseus came near, and Medusa fell asleep. Perseus entered and crept toward the Gorgon's sleeping forms, finding his way with the reflections on Athena's shield. When he came upon Medusa resting peacefully, he brought his sword down on her neck. From the wound sprang Medusa and Poseidon's strange children, a winged horse named Pegasus, and a warrior called Chrysaor. As Perseus stuffed Medusa's head into his satchel, Stheno and Euryale woke to the horrifying scene and attacked. But putting on the cap of invisibility and the winged sandals, Perseus escaped unharmed, followed only by Euryale's painful cry of despair echoing through the cave. Perseus was met by his crew's praise, and because death had failed to weaken the power of Medusa's gaze, Perseus used her severed head to kill Polydectes, then gave it to Athena, who placed it on her shield. But Athena's was not the only shield marked with Medusa's face. Ancient Greek and Roman artists put Medusa's image on everything from armor and paintings to ceramics and mosaic floors. And while it was usual for ancient Greek figures to appear in profile, Medusa was almost always shown facing straight outward. She was a symbol to ward off evil, one that held both fear and protection at once. Her story echoed through time. In many versions, including the earliest, she was always a Gorgon, In others, like the ancient Roman poet Ovid's, she had a more human, sympathetic backstory. As a woman who had suffered cruelty and injustice, not just a simple monster to kill.